And so, I'm asking you at this time, what is the state of public primary and secondary education in Rivers State? We'll get your contributions. Remember, we're live on facebook.com/Nigeria InfoPH. We're live on Twitter as well at Nigeria InfoPH. But joining me for this very important conversation is the man standing with the responsibility of administering education here in Rivers State. Rivers State's Commissioner for Education, Professor Chinedu Mmom, joins me via phone. Commissioner, good evening to you and welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah, good evening, Dayo.
So, Commissioner, as I mentioned just a while ago, public schools in Rivers State resumed on the 9th of January. I believe that's the date that they did resume. Resuming implies that they had no break, of course, for the usual break, and of course this time around it coincided with the Christmas holidays and the New Year festivities as well. Prior to the resumption of schools on the 9th, what did your ministry do to prepare the schools for resumption?
Thank you very much, Dayo, for this. Just like you already pointed out, we really took a break for the Christmas and New Year holidays. The season started in September. We took a break in December for the Christmas and New Year vacation. So we just merely resumed to continue with the academic session. And in other words, the second term of the academic session of 2022 and 23 session. Now, what has been done is that government looked at most of the public schools. Some were actually in critical, conditions of disrepair, and the government has embarked on serious renovation of these schools, and knowing that we are in the river state where the rains will not usually give us enough notification before it comes. So most of these roofs that have been leaking are being, changed. In fact, most of them were changing the entire roofs, changing the ceiling certification, and also furnishing of the schools. In some cases where the walls are even bad, the buildings are being brought down and being, reconstructed. And these are going on concurrently in several local government areas in the state. So far now, about 30-something schools are undergoing redevelopment and restructuring, whereas some others are undergoing renovation, change of roofs, other broken infrastructure in the schools. So these are what we have been doing to ensure the new term, picks up without, much hitches. Of course, most of those works were not completed before the schools were resumed, but we didn't have enough time to be done when we did it, because the agreed minimum for now the rains will be here, and if we're not able to do it before the rains come, it means that the children will also be suffering under that condition till the session is over. So that's one of the things we have done. We equally try to make provisions for some materials for teaching and learning. By next week Tuesday, most of these materials will be distributed. Some already been distributed to facilitate the teaching and learning process in the state. So I want to give credit to the government. The government, like on the point that is winding down, but despite the fact that the government is winding down, the governor of the state has been embarking on several other projects. Of course, government will continue believing that even as the new government comes on board, the system, continues, seamlessly. So basically, all I say that the state government has been given high level of priority to education, and it's been made manifest in these other what I just listed below. And also, for now, I found that in the of this government in 2015, the government has embarked on payment of school fee, examination fees, the basic examination certificate examination, the best what used to be known as junior work for those in the basic 9 classes, and also for the senior school certificate examinations conducted by both National Examination Commission (NECO) as well as that conducted by the West African Examination Council (WAEC). So the government of the state has approved and also released the money for the payment of these examination registration for all students in public schools, in River State. So we commend the government of the day, headed by the Chief Vice President Wike, for his love and the priority he has given to education in the state.
Commissioner, no doubt, a lot of the things you just highlighted right now are quite commendable as far as your preparations and what may be interpreted as a commitment of the state government to improving the quality of education in the state. However, in spite of these preparations that were made, prior to the resumption of schools in the state, there have been widespread reports that a lot of the schools students and teachers resumed to school compounds and premises that were overgrown with bush. Is that standard practice? Is that a policy of the state government and your ministry? And it is expected that the students are the ones who are going to clear the bush and basically clean up the entire school. Is that a policy of the River State government?
I actually went to school, but I attended County Grammar School in Korechi. And I know that when we vacated and resumed for classes, we were in charge of cleaning our dormitories, our classes for resumption of school academic, activities. So anybody who say, "Oh, we're going with grasses," expect the government to come clear the grasses. I don't know how to say, That's why I don't know when you went to school, but in the 80s, when we went to school, we came back to school with our class classes, brooms, with buckets of bells, to be able to keep the compound clean. I expect the commissioner to come to the cutting grasses to be cleaning, dusting, the tables and chairs or sweeping the floors for 20 feet. It's not a practice here. However, in those areas where we see that the compound is so that overwhelm the capacity of the students, to handle, we have always been in trying to clean their boards in readiness for academic activities.
Commissioner, obviously, it will be outlandish for anyone to expect yourself or ministry officials to go to the schools to clear the grass or clean the classrooms. However, our schools is not the same. The same rules don't apply. Students don't come back to school.
Readiness for classes. It's not out of place. But like I said, there's no government policy on who should clean the classes. However, in some cases, we have those who render services, who prepare this. But if they're not available, it's not out of place. To be able to sweep the floors, the classroom, does their chairs, readiness for classes. Like I said, when we say that, look, there are areas where we say that, we don't subject them to doing this kind of labors work. We have always intervened, getting slashers to slash the grasses, keeping the compound, fumigate the compound when need arises, for students to come in and enjoy a cozy, environment for teaching and learning. Like when I put our private schools, you see private schools do a lot of things. That's why people say, private school they charge so much money where people are being pampered. For goodness sake, my children at home should be able to wake up in the morning, sweep their rooms, just arrange their rooms. Why do you have to hire somebody to just come? So my child, all they'll do, wake up, eat, and move back. You make them lazy. We went into that way, and I suggest my children, you need to sweep your room, dress your bed, just your furniture in the room, and that's how we were brought up.
Yeah, but Commissioner, cleaning my room or doing the dishes at home is different from cleaning or cutting grass in school. They're two different things.
But like I said, so if I, as a child, you go to school, you expect someone to come just to sweep your floors for you, the classroom, just your chairs for you to sit. For goodness sake, what are we talking about? Like I said, I don't know when you went to school, but when I went to school, we did it. It didn't prevent me from anything. I'm a professor today. I pass to public schools. I went back to the dormitory with my cutlasses or my slashers, as the case may be, brooms and pails. I know you have pail and the case may be. And we even clean our toilet. So there's no big deal there. So it shouldn't be an issue, that's no big deal.
Oh, Commissioner, let's move on.
From what we have today.
Let's move on from there. Days after schools resumed, or about a week or thereabout, you talked about learning materials. I believe you also referred to teaching aids being distributed to schools. And just a while ago, in the course of this conversation, you also referenced that, and you said that the materials are still being distributed and more will be distributed next week. I think it says something of that nature. Now, the schools have resumed. Teaching and learning ought to have commenced already. Why are learning materials or teaching aids being distributed after schools have resumed? And as we speak right now, it appears obvious not all the schools have got them. Some might be getting later this week, some even next week. So what does the ministry expect the schools to do when the learning materials are not with the school authorities already?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure you expect me to have distributed this material during the Christmas and the New Year festivities. I'm sure you didn't expect me to do that. One school is in the way distributed, the much that are needed at the immediate for immediate takeoff of activities. Others with their common experience, like I said. For logistics reasons, you will not expect all the schools across the local government to be distributed at the same time. Receive that equally, we have zones, zone by zone. So these are received by the student directors who in turn distribute to the various, school principals, that go to the various teachers as the case may be. We've done our own part, like I said. This may not all be done at a time. Of course, it's not very possible. And I won't have called you back during the Christmas and the New Year. They come and be collecting materials as the case may be. I'm sure you also enjoy eating rice and chicken in your homes.
I was working, Commissioner. There was no holiday for me.
Well, I know you working as much as I was working, but some others were also eating the chicken and the rice during the specific period. So you can understand that we couldn't have done that during that period. So when we resume, those ones are next even we never do the smooth takeoff we did. Some of us are coming and they will take some of the materials that are included now may not just be used immediately, but sometime within the semester, so within the term, they will be, in use. And as more of these materials we keep distributing, we're also expecting some textbooks, that come in. As they come, we'll be able to distribute to the students. They may not all come at the same time. Of course, we agree to say that it's not possible to have all these things put in place at the same time. We have to be realistic.
What are the challenges to that specifically, to having these things in place at the same time?
Yeah, well, some of the logistic reasons, like I said, somebody who is coming from Bonnie, who is coming from far by Fobo and Abua Odu and local government area, that would take almost about 5 to 6 hours to arrive here. So how do you expect him to be at the same pace with those who are within Port Harcourt here within the space of 20, 30 minutes? They just stop their materials and I go. And even this person coming from here will take it to local government headquarters where they have to pass through what we call break and buck, from the bus here, get to the boat to the pontoon, the difficulties, So that's why they cannot all be visited at the same time. One. Secondly, is that the suppliers who bring these materials may not also bring all of them at the same, time. And that's why even the delay, that's why I said by Tuesday, because another batch came in, yesterday. So we will sort them out according to the various local government areas, the quantity for each of the local government areas, and distribute accordingly. So none is sustained in the process.
All right, Commissioner, I have got more questions for you, but we have a commercial break coming up right now. Once we return from the commercial break, the conversation will continue. We're discussing schools resuming in Rivers State. My guest, Professor Chinedu Mmom, Commissioner for Education in Rivers State, will still be on the show when we return. Send your contributions in via Facebook and Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. The number to call at the appropriate time, 0700 923 093. Do please stay tuned. Hard Facts returns shortly. Welcome back to Hot Factor Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dyer. 27 minutes to go before 6 p.m. The major news is up at 6. But for the moment, we're discussing education in Rivers State on the heels of public schools recently resuming for another term in the state. I'm asking you once again, what is the state of public primary and secondary school education in Rivers State? Join the conversation via facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. We're streaming live there. Also via Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. The line to call will be opened in a moment. Well, once again, joining me via phone for this conversation is Rivers State's Commissioner for Education, Professor Chinedu Mmom. Commissioner, you're welcome once again.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, now, as the schools were about to resume, you released several statements. You spoke with the press repeatedly on the resumption. And one of the things that you mentioned was a charge to the school authorities, principals, head teachers, to not charge or collect any illegal fees from students as the schools resume across the state. So my question is, or a number of questions rolled up in one actually, and the first one, maybe the most important: are any kinds of fees being charged at all at schools, public schools or state-run schools in Rivers State? And if they are, what are the fees exactly? And what steps has your ministry put in place to ensure that schools, head teachers or principals are unable to charge or collect any illegal fees from the students?
Yeah, well, like I said during my opening addresses at the school resume, I said education is free in Rivers State. It's against the policy of the state for any head teacher or any principal of a school to charge any fee on their students. In most cases, I get calls that school principal is collecting 1,000 naira, says admission fee, and I said admission is free in Rivers State. Around December 17th, some parents called me that some principals are demanding some money as clearance for WAEC and NECO registration. And I told them that is illegal. They should allow anybody to see them into paying any money, because the government of the state is committed to paying these examination fees as have been done all these 7 years. And when the time is right, that they will also get communication from me in that regard. Now, the point I'm making here is that we said education is free in Rivers, including examination. Now, some time ago, some people have called me, we are from such organization. We appreciate what the government is doing in the state, and we are supporting the government to do one or two things. Let me give an example. Some banks have called me, we want to support government, we want to do 1 or 2 blocks in terms of school renovation as our own part of contribution, as part of social, corporate social responsibility. We want to support the efforts of the government. We are looking 1 or 2 buildings here. We want to do some innovation. We want to furnish, the school building with chairs, tables, laboratories, as the case may be. Let me just take an instance. As soon as women get secondary school, one of the banks, this Standing Bank or so, came in and they want to innovate one of the blocks, and they have done that. I think it's work is ongoing. I remember that the Rotary International came to government secondary school at the GRA, the Army secondary school in GRA, to do 1 or 2 innovation works. They have also donated books, writing materials, and just named them to schools. In some cases, PTA have said, we want to support the efforts of the state government, meaning that the enormity, of the job on the part of the River State government, all that we have been doing in this innovation, provision of other infrastructure facilities. We want to complement the efforts of, the government in this school, which we, as a nation of parents, and teachers, want to say, we want to contribute, in fact, so to help support the government. In most cases, they have written to me that at our PTA meeting, head of so they will resolve that the PTA will support, the school in providing 1 or 2 things, for the school. So because of that, in this time, as children are coming back to school, we have agreed as parents to the teachers that we are going to pay per child 1,000 naira, that this will support the the PTA as administration get some funds to complement the efforts of the government. So if such schools write to me that this is for the resolution of the parents, teachers association to support or to complement the efforts of the government, and they say, oh, each child is to pay 200 naira, or then that's the culture that may close my eyes because it's an association that has resolved for both the teachers and the parents to complement the efforts of the government. So we won't quarrel at that. But except for all this, any other charge placed on these children or imposed on the children are illegal.
But just to be clear, the policy of the state government on education still remains that not one naira is being charged any student in Rivers State.
We have not changed. That is still the policy of the government. Nothing has changed to that effect.
All right. Now, like I said,
that is why I have set a monitoring team, going around, sometimes giving some people money when they September when school is on. I give some people money. Please go and pretend to be a chip and so and so, places of school. Let's see the reaction from the principals. Unfortunately, they escaped all the facts. I said nobody fell into that. Some other people have heard that, for one reason or another, have tried extorting money from students who are suspended. So for now, the policy of the government remains that collect no dime from any child. That anywhere need a rising care, let us know. We know that the needs of the schools are enormous, or kids dinner on parks, to ensure that we make education free and qualitative.
Whenever we've had calls to speak to teachers or head teachers or even principals, even though they do that on anonymity, the defense is always that they don't get any interest from the ministry. They don't get any funding to run the schools, and the only way they can do that and ensure the schools do not fall apart and teaching learning can still go on is if they charge these so-called illegal fees. They don't like to call them illegal fees. They claim that they have no choice but to charge these fees in order to keep the school running.
Well, they may not be telling you the correction all the time, when somebody is a corporate in any particular, you try to put up one or two defense and deal with the causes or the cause that. If you see what the government is doing, if somebody comes and look, parents will pay no money. Let me give an instance to tell you that what I'm telling you is correct. December, 3 parents called me from about 5 different schools. More than 3. What were the issues? The principals were collecting 4,000 naira as WAEC registration clearance. The question is, what is WAEC registration fee clearance? That's the question, if asked. And every time if you don't pay that, we'll be able to give you a clearance to enable you register the subject you have to do for exam. What is that? So I even told me that some principals are charging 12,000 in WAEC registration. They weren't sure that Rivers State government was to pay and to avoid late entry or late registration. That's what I've asked these children to pay. And some parents who are not very literate, who didn't have the patience to contact me to get the reality, have started paying this one, have paid this money to these principals. But that is not correct, the fact. That is not correct. The Rivers State government, even before I said, Rivers State government is committed to the payment of this examination fee.
So, pardon me, Commissioner, in those instances, like the one you just gave right now, where principals are charging 4,000 naira or even more in some cases, what has the ministry done about?
That is because of one thing.
No. My question, Commissioner, is what has your ministry done about such cases?
Like those cases are being investigated. So about 7 principals are now on suspension. We are still probing and about 7 other ones. We have to got some reports. For certain reasons, I won't be able to mention the name of the schools and the principals. Let me protect their privacy. But these are things we have done, and it's not like different to some other teachers and principals who would intend doing such things. The point I'm making is when you catch those, why? They will give one reason. We don't have this because I didn't have this. No, that's not the issue. That's not the issue. It's a policy, and the provisions are being made. So why will people just come, do whatever they want to do because as usual, nothing will happen? Some do with impunity. Why will a parent haven't even announced? We have announced that this is free of charge. Yes, some principals will say children or parents, please, you can't pay 15,000 for where it's from. We are not sure of the Rivers State government. They collect money for children. Meanwhile, government is paying for this thing. So that's where
All
we
right,
are.
Commissioner,
That's why this time
Commissioner,
my eyes are open. I have put my mercenaries, in place to ensure that we track these people who are these bad eggs in the system and show them the way out.
all right, Commissioner. Speaking
So
of
can be
fees,
different in the system.
speaking of fees for external exams like WAEC and NECO, concerns have been raised lately by parents and guardians that the official fee, I think for WAEC, for example, is 18,000 naira or something around that figure. But at private schools in Rivers State charge as much as 75,000 naira, 80,000 naira, or even some more in some other cases for students to write these external examinations. Is that something that your ministry is looking into?
That is not before me. Like I said, I don't have to, I'm not a magician. I've not got any formal report. Even if formal one, part of what you're telling me now, I've not got any report to that effect. But what I know is that the WAEC is an independent body of the administration and also the NECO administering these external examinations. And they have their charges, which they have given to the government and which government has released funds, for. I have some supervisory role over the private schools, but other than what goes, I'm not aware of any charge, that is,
A further question, so, Commissioner. A further question: is it appropriate for private schools to charge significantly higher, astronomically higher, than what the exam bodies like WAEC are charging for the exams?
Like I said, I don't have any report to that effect. I'm not aware of any information, any complaint about the fees charged or the.
I understand that, Commissioner. What I'm asking is, in the event that in the event that a petition is submitted to you, say tomorrow morning, if you find that that's going on, what will be the response of your ministry?
Yeah, like when I don't have to, when those reports come, I know what to do. Let me not just start letting the cat out of the bag. If there are private schools that are in a kind of cutthroat, I don't have to describe them, trying to exploit our people in the state here. Of course, we'll try to get that. For instance, if examination fees charged by WAEC officially is 18,000 naira, and the school is charging 50,000 naira, they'll be able to raise some questions, Even though it's a private business, we also to monitor what is going on there to ensure that there are people who are residents and indigenous, rather residents or indigenous of the state, So they shouldn't be sent to such level of exploitation because they're in private schools. That's why I say until we get such formal complaints, they'll be able to know, what to do in that regard. But this is WAEC is charging maybe 18,000 naira and still charging 20 of the program and have explanations for what these extra charges are for, which is understandable. We won't have much, issues. But that show is charging 80,000 as against the 18,000, the government of the state surely will be able to, intervene and find out what the challenges are and see what can be done about that. Because that is gross exploitation. Even though if you have option of the public schools, you choose the private schools, but also try to monitor some things. Don't allow certain excesses, on the part of the private schools.
All right, Commissioner, in the first term of this administration, of course, you were not Commissioner for Education then. There was a needs assessment done by the Ministry of Education, and it was determined that at least 10,000 teachers and 4,000 non-teaching staff were needed in Rivers State. The Rivers State governor did announce ceremoniously that he was going to fill those vacancies at that time. A second needs assessment was done after a meeting with the Federal Ministry of Education and all the other ministries in the states regarding the introduction of one or two new subjects, and it was determined that another needs assessment needed to be done to recruit teachers to teach those new subjects, which means that the figures must have gone up from the initial 10,000. But from that time till now, and I'm talking the first term of this government, from that time till now, there's been no report of these positions being filled, of teachers being employed to fill in positions in primary and secondary schools in the state. And we have reports that there are some schools that have no teachers, so there are schools that have only one or two teachers. As a matter of fact, I have a message here as well, which I'd like to read out. Tell the Honourable Commissioner of Education that for the past 6 years, the state school of Poko in Kana LGA has no single teacher. On this platform, I have drawn the attention of his predecessor, Professor Ebeku, twice to this sad situation, but he downplayed and denied that such school without teachers doesn't exist in Rivers State. The affected generation of children and posterity will never forgive this administration for this unpardonable act. I don't expect Professor Mmom to say anything other than the usual denial Mark Dona Leko from Opoko said that. So, Commissioner, what's your response to this? Are there enough teachers? What efforts are being made to recruit teachers?
First of all, it would be not fair, on me to begin to address issues that I don't know about, that they have never happened, when I was in office. Of course, I don't know what to expect of me. That if you compare me to talking about what happened when my professor, that would not be very fair on me. So since I wasn't there then, there's no basis for me to be talking about, arguing yes or no in that regard. But however, what I know is that since I became the Commissioner for Education for about 6 months and plus now, we have made sure we rationalize things. People saying, oh, no single teacher in a school. Of course, that is fallacy. That is never correct. There should not be any way there's no single teacher in a class. We agree that teachers should be retiring. Some retire, some die, some change jobs. There may be one or two, lacks in the system. But I know that even the government have even made some pronouncements some days back. That's about some 2 or 3 weeks back. They are going to recruit about 5,000, people into the civil, service, including, teachers. So what are we supposed to just relate to the little person? People, when policies or certain things don't favor them, they seem to criticize and talk and talk and talk. Once they give them a little sugar in their mouth or they change, once that sugar is, the taste of the sugar is off again, oh, this is too bad. I thought that look, the challenges are enormous. You get the point I'm making. But the point I'm saying here is that I have not, since I came on board, I've never seen a report that is school without teachers. What I have done before this session resumed, I drew the attention of the various boards, the Junior Secondary School Board, as well as the Senior Secondary School Board, and we looked at the distribution of teachers according to these key subject areas to see whether there are areas that are more deficient, and then so we have surplus. What we've been doing since September last year has been that of rationalization, and we're going to do some adjustment because when I did some close visit to some of the schools, I discovered that some schools, especially those in the urban areas, have more staff than those in the rural areas. In some cases, you have about 5-6 English, chemistry, or physics teachers in a school, whereas some others have about maybe one, some don't even have maybe a chemistry that teaches chemistry and agri, or an agri that teaches agri and physics, as the case may be. And since then, we started handling this. We have been doing some rationalization. We are just now reporting to ensure that no area suffers so much, deficit in this regard, especially the very core, subjects. These are enormous tasks, but we are facing them. And I want to assure you that something is being done to rationalize, to be sure that the urban schools don't take undue advantage over the rural schools in terms of this staffing, the case may be. So the point I'm making here is that, yes, there may be some gaps in the system which we are trying to make up, sometimes with the NYSC, to fill up some of these gaps. But the government has assured that some 5,000 public civil servants and also teachers will be put in a couple of weeks from now. We'll be able to fill up those other, gaps that we have in the system. But people saying, oh, no, someone who is not as visual. I've told people that, look, you don't be judging, oh, this has happened before. It's always the same thing. That person is probably fair to me. I think he owes me some slides, some small, apologies for some who don't do anything, different. I know I'm not very reinventing the wheels, but it's watching to came. A lot of things have been changing. And I want to tell the government of the state is still prioritizing the education. So all I expect to give kudos to the government for what they're doing. I say, look, that's a way of asking for more. But when you say, oh, for all you are doing, nothing is being done, you don't think the moral of the person who is doing it. So I expect people to be, not being, negative in their listen. Be constructive. Oh, yeah, the government, I think you are doing well in this area. I will expect that you look into these other areas, it will help to balance the system.
Commissioner, pardon me, we have to wrap this up shortly. I'd like to read another comment. It's a question of sorts. Ryan Stevens sent this in on Facebook. Dear Commissioner, please tell us what your government is doing in the area of security, teachers' welfare, and teaching aids in state-owned primary schools. Right now, schools don't have security, and that has given room for criminals to steal school property at ease, and in most cases, pupils are sitting on the floor. Could you address that very quickly, please, in about a minute?
Yeah. You see, most people have told before there are some challenges in some of their schools. Some of the properties, computers are being captured away. We have made some ad hoc arrangements for, security, engaging some security to be able to forestall those areas of, theft of government, property. But like I said, we used to have those security people. Some of them have left the system. some for one or two technical reasons have not been able to continue with the jobs. Well, we have been doing a lot of things, and actions have been taken to ensure we put more security, especially in most of the rural areas, where sometimes, people go to sleep and the burglars break into the school, cut away with laboratory equipment, computers, and thereabouts. We're working on those things, on fixing those security issues, and I'm sure in a very short while from now, those issues will be seen of the past.
And teachers' welfare, and teachers' welfare, very quickly, Commissioner, teachers' welfare, any plan for that?
Far, that is being worked on, that this thing has, procedure. People don't expect me to come and our teachers will be promoted. No. There is always a laid down, procedures for some of these things that have been done, which I don't have the capacity to speak, here. What I'm trying to say that the government looking into the welfare of its staff, not just in terms of just this infrastructure development, but also the welfare. But at the appropriate time, those who are licensed to speak for the government in that regard will have those issues. Let me focus on that. These ones that concern me or that concern me.
Commissioner?
I think I've been able to address some of these issues.
Absolutely.
Other ones, the masterpiece of the
Commissioner, I apologize. We must wrap it up right now. Professor Chinedu Mmom is Commissioner for Education in Rivers State. Commissioner, many thanks for your time.
No, it's my pleasure, Dayo. Want to see you again.
Commercial break next. Major news report at 6 p.m. Do please stay with us.
Fly Qatar Airways.